The most dangerous man is not the one who seeks approval, nor the one who needs attention, nor the one who is afraid to leave without looking back. Think about that for a second. In a world obsessed with Instagram likes, endless selfies, and the constant search for validation, there is one type of man who refuses to play this game. Here comes a Sigma man, a mystery wrapped in independence and seasoned with a touch of rebellion. These men are a walking paradox. They don't chase, they don't show off, and yet they grab attention wherever they go. And here's the surprising thing. Studies show that people who do not conform to social norms are often perceived as a threat. Now imagine being a modern woman navigating this chaotic emotional world of dating, only to find yourself with a man immune to your charm, social influence, or subtle power plays. For many, this is not only irritating, it's downright infuriating. And let's be honest, there's nothing more disconcerting than someone who doesn't bat an eye at your edgiest selfie or isn't impressed by your success on TikTok. But why? Why do Sigma men generate such intense emotions in 97% of modern women? Spoiler, it's not because they're arrogant. It's because they break the unwritten rules. Let's break it down and find out why these men are both admired and hated, all while enjoying their coffee in complete silence. Number 1, they don't chase, they observe. Sigma men don't waste their energy chasing anyone, and that completely baffles most women. In a world where being pursued is often interpreted as a measured desirability, a man who doesn't play this game is like a crash against the system. Instead of launching into grand gestures or excessive compliments, the Sigma steps back, observes, and evaluates. He is not impressed with superficial beauty or performative charm. It focuses on understanding the deep layers of who someone really is. This calculated approach can be disconcerting for women used to being the automatic center of attention. The detached attitude of the Sigma feels strange and even frustrating. It does not seek to impress or validate anyone. Instead, you look at behavior, personality, and values, silently deciding if someone fits into your world before taking any action. This makes every interaction with him feel like a test, not because he's playing, but because he's genuinely selective about who he accesses his energy with. The most disconcerting thing is that this is not arrogance. A Sigma is not being difficult to conquer or try and manipulate. He simply knows what he wants and refuses to settle for less. This leads many women to question themselves in ways they may not have experienced before. Why don't you react? Why isn't he desperate to impress me? The truth is that Sigmas see the world differently. They don't chase because they don't need to. They are happy alone and only commit when someone really intrigues them. And while this may frustrate those accustomed to receiving instant admiration, it's also why a Sigma's attention, once given, feels so rare and meaningful, because it's earned, not given. Number 2, they are immune to emotional manipulation. Sigma men are practically allergic to emotional manipulation, and that's a problem for those who depend on it to get their way. In the modern dating world, emotional games have become a default strategy, generating guilt, playing hard to get, or provoking jealousy to keep someone hooked. But Sigmas don't fall into that. They see these tactics for exactly what they are: attempts to control, not connect. And the moment they detect manipulation, they walk away as if it were something natural. This ability to avoid emotional pitfalls isn't just about intelligence. It's about self-respect. A Sigma man knows his value and refuses to be dragged into someone else's drama. He won't argue over trivial things just to keep the peace, and he definitely won't allow himself to be manipulated into making decisions he doesn't believe in. For him, emotional manipulation is not a sign of passion or love. It is a red flag, and he treats it as such. For women accustomed to these tactics running like clockwork, dealing with a Sigma feels like hitting a wall. They try to create tension, expecting an explosive reaction, but instead they are met with indifferent calm. Sigmas don't shout, they don't beg, and they don't play. This lack of emotional vulnerability is disconcerting and even infuriating. What makes it even worse is that they don't avoid manipulation because they fear confrontation. They avoid it because they don't see value in it. Sigmas communicate from logic and authenticity, where emotional manipulation is not even on the radar. For some, this may feel like rejection, but for a Sigma, it's simply staying true to itself. And nothing frustrates someone more than realizing that their usual tactics don't work on someone who refuses to play the game. Number 3, they prioritize purpose over relationships. Sigma men have an internal compass that always points toward their mission in life. Whether it's achieving a career goal, following a creative passion, or simply living on your own terms, your purpose is always priority number 1. This can be difficult for many women to accept, especially in a society that often teaches them that they should be the center of a man's world. But for a Sigma, relationships are an important part of life, not the centerpiece. They are not defined by their romantic status or how many people are interested in them. This means that they are not going to abandon their goals or sacrifice their identity just to maintain a relationship. And while this approach may seem cold or distant at first, it is also deeply liberating. A Sigma man is not interested in codependent relationships or emotional dramas. Look for connections that complement your life, not define it. If anyone tries to get between him and his purpose, he will not hesitate to walk away. This firmness is often interpreted as disinterest, but it is quite the opposite. When a Sigma chooses to be with someone, they do so from a place of conscious decision, not need or social pressure. And that authenticity, although difficult for some people to accept, is one of the reasons why women who manage to connect with Sigma find the experience so unique and memorable. Number 4, they do not seek external validation. Perhaps the most disconcerting trait of Sigma men is their complete independence from external validation. In an era where everyone seems desperate to be seen, recognized, and accepted, Sigmas march at a completely different pace. They don't need likes, applause, or approval to feel complete. This does not mean that they are antisocial or arrogant, but rather that they have learned to find their value internally. They don't care about following the latest trends or fitting into a predefined mold. Instead, they forge their own path, whether anyone else approves or not. And this self-sufficiency can be deeply intimidating for people accustomed to measuring their self-worth by the opinions of others. A Sigma is not going to change who you are to fit a popular narrative or to gain someone's acceptance. This makes it unpredictable, intriguing, and frustrating at the same time. For many women, it can be difficult to understand how someone can be so at peace with themselves without needing constant approval from others. But here's the secret. Sigmas don't disconnect from the world. They just don't let the world control them. This level of independence can be attractive and disconcerting all in one. Because in a world where external validation is the norm, Sigmas represent a rare and powerful alternative: true trust. Number 5, they are not afraid of being alone. Loneliness is many people's worst fear, but for Sigma men, it is an invaluable tool. They not only tolerate being alone, they enjoy it. For them, loneliness is not a punishment, but an opportunity to reflect, recharge, and grow. This doesn't mean they are hermits or avoid human connections. It means they don't need the constant company of others to feel complete or happy. This ability to be alone gives them incredible freedom. They do not stay in unsatisfying relationships for fear of loneliness, nor do they seek to fill emotional voids with superficial attention. For them, quality always trumps quantity, and that includes the people they choose to surround themselves with. This detachment can be difficult to understand for women who seek constant validation or emotional security in a relationship. One Sigma is not going to fill those gaps, not because he doesn't worry, but because he believes in emotional autonomy. He expects the same from others, that they find their happiness and purpose on their own before sharing it with him. And while this may be a challenge for some, it is also one of the most powerful and respected qualities of a Sigma man. Want to know more about what makes Sigma men so unique? Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. Thank you for watching this video, and remember, it's not about being like everyone else. It's about being true to yourself. Until next time.